Hey, hi, hello everyone. I'm Irshad Ahmed, your social science teacher. Children, are you preparing for 10th board examination? Are you in 10th standard? क्या आपको बोर्ड एग्जाम से थोड़ा सा डर लग रहा है? क्वेश्चन की प्रैक्टिस अभी तक पूरी नहीं हो पाई है? कोई बात नहीं, टेंशन ना ले, बिकॉज आई हैव स्टार्टेड अ सीरीज ऑफ वीडियोस फॉर द डिस्कशन ऑफ क्वेश्चन आंसर्स फॉर द 10th ग्रेड सीबीएसई सोशल साइंस. आप जानते हो कि मैं सोशल साइंस पढ़ाता हूँ. एंड चिल्ड्रन, in the previous session we have discussed 10 questions from the chapter power sharing, and in this video we are going to discuss the same chapter but द रिमेनिंग 10 क्वेश्चंस. तो बाकी के जो 10 क्वेश्चन हमने डिस्कस नहीं किए थे पिछले वीडियो में, वो 10 क्वेश्चंस हम लोग आज डिस्कस करेंगे. तो चलिए, आपका ज्यादा टाइम नहीं लेते हैं एंड आई विल स्टार्ट द डिस्कशन ऑफ द रिमेनिंग 10 क्वेश्चंस फॉर यू. एज यू कैन सी दैट इट इज पावर शेयरिंग. तो पावर शेयरिंग इज द चैप्टर. एंड चलो, आप जानते हो कि पावर शेयरिंग बहुत सिंपल चैप्टर है, बट once again I'm telling you this chapter is going to be evaluated for 6 marks in the board examination, 2 marks for the MCQs and 4 marks for the one subjective question, right? तो चलिए, 10 क्वेश्चंस हम ऑलरेडी डिस्कस कर चुके हैं. सो नाउ वी आर मूविंग टू द क्वेश्चन नंबर 11, एंड हियर इज योर क्वेश्चन नंबर 11. तो यहाँ पर आपका क्वेश्चन नंबर 11 आपको दिख रहा है बच्चों. द क्वेश्चन इज हियर, explain the power sharing arrangement among the different levels of the government. अच्छा, बहुत आसान सवाल है but it is very important also. So children, now number one point, under this people choose separate government at separate levels. For example, a general government for the entire country and governments at the provincial, subnational or regional level. So children, power sharing arrangement is done at the different levels of the government. And generally, in most of the democracies, it is done in this way. So, what is the process and what is the way how the powers are shared here? Number one, the government at national level, which is for the entire nation. And number two, the government at state level. State level government is also called regional government or provincial government. And even children, these are the two most important common forms of governments are found in most of democracies. And children, in countries like India, there is one more type of government which is called local body government. ठीक है? Now, तो एग्जाम में आप पहला पॉइंट ये लिखोगे एंड देन चिल्ड्रन सेकेंड पॉइंट यू विल राइट दिस वन. Such a general government for the entire country is usually called a federal government. So children, अगर so children here, if this type of system is found in any democracy, so you can say that it is a federal system or a federal government. तो federal government क्या होती है? It's a type of government where there are more than one level of government is found. At least there are two levels of government are there, or there can be more than two also. ठीक है? So children, in India, we refer it to as the union government. The government at the provincial or the regional level are called by different names in different countries. So government at national level is called what? Government at national level is called union government. And the government at provincial level, it is called state level government, regional government, provincial government. So names are different in the different countries. But आपको इतना याद रखना पड़ेगा कि union government is at the national level, which is also called the federal government. And children, the state level government is at the state level, which is also called provincial or regional government. In India, these are known as point number 4, children. In India, these are known as the state governments. The system is not followed in all the countries of the world. तो आप जानते हो कि इन इंडिया व्हाट डू वी कॉल इट? वी कॉल इट एज द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट, है ना? स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पंजाब एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ हरियाणा एंड ऑल. So children, this type of system is not followed in all the countries because they don't need it, right? There are some countries in the world where they have only one level of government, which is the national government only. Okay. So federal system is found in not all the democracies, but it is found in some democracies, right, children? So, number five, children, the division of power is more important under such type of governments. A government at different levels enjoys different powers which are given to them by constitution. The children here, why these governments are made actually? These governments are formed to share the powers with them, right? So children, the powers are given to the national government, the powers are given to the state governments, and even the powers are given to the local governments in some countries. So different levels of governments are given powers by whom? By the constitution. So the constitution is the only power giving book, and it's a only rule book, है ना? यही तो होता है जो हमें पावर देता है. चलो कोई बात नहीं. तो बच्चों, look at here now. So who share the power or who give the power? That is the constitution. ठीक है. Number 6, children, the divisions of power involving higher and lower levels of government are called vertical division of power. देखो बहुत आसान है. The division at different levels, okay, or the different levels of government. Understood, children? The different levels of government, the governments at national level, state level, and local level. It's it's called what, children? It is called vertical division of power. क्या कहते हैं इसको? Vertical division of power. ठीक है? तो children, it is called vertical division of power. आई बात समझ में आपके? चलो ठीक है. तो children, this question may come for 5 marks also, and even no, it may come for 4 marks, so you can write 4 to 5 points. If possible, you can write 6 point also. That's not wrong. ठीक है. चलिए, तो children, this question is already done. Explain the power sharing arrangement among the different levels of the government. So children, at the different levels of the government, क्या होता है? What is there? Yeah, there are at least 2 levels of the governments are there. चलिए, so next question, children, does a country get more power by actual dispersing the power? यानी इसका सवाल का मतलब आपको समझना पड़ेगा. अगर किसी देश में पावर्स दिए गए हैं, तो क्या सच में उस कंट्री को उससे फायदा होता है? क्या उस कंट्री को उससे, दैट कंट्री बिकम स्ट्रॉन्ग और वीक? सो लेट अस डिस्कस दिस टॉपिक. दिस इज वेरी क्रिटिकल क्वेश्चन. हाँ, तो काफी क्रिटिकल क्वेश्चन है, और चिल्ड्रन, इन बोर्ड एग्जामिनेशन सच क्वेश्चंस आर मोर फोकस्ड. ठीक है. चलिए, सो नंबर 1, पावर शेयरिंग यूनाइट्स अ कंट्री as a group, sets the representation in the government. Children, there was a misconception that power sharing may disunite the country. There was a misconception that power sharing can divide the country, but that is totally wrong. Power sharing never divide the country. Power sharing unite the country. But how? It unite the country. कैसे, चिल्ड्रन? नंबर 2 पॉइंट आपको समझना पड़ेगा. बाय इंश्योरिंग व्हाट? इट इंश्योर्स that every group's interest would be taken care of, and everybody, irrespective of his community, would be provided with equal political rights and opportunities. तो बच्चों, this way, देखिए, आप किसी देश के बारे में सोचिए. there is a country, children, and that country wants to unite the citizens. So how country can unite the citizens? Because the country sharing differences. Okay, the communities, different social groups are living in the country. So how can a country and how can a government unite those all diverse people? The children, these all diverse people can be united by sharing equal powers. What was done in Sri Lanka? Children, equal powers, equal political rights, and equal opportunities were not provided to the Tamils. And what happened, children? The country got divided, and not even divided, but children, in the country there were so many conflicts happen. Even the civil war happened, and that created many problems in the country. The children, In Belgium, what happened? The powers were equally shared with the different social groups, with the different linguistic groups. So what happened? बेल्जियम यूनाइटेड हो गया ना, सही है। तो पावर शेयरिंग से कोई भी देश डिवाइड नहीं होता है, यूनाइट ही होता है। हाँ, बिकॉज चिल्ड्रन सारे कम्युनिटीज को क्या चाहिए? ऑल द कम्युनिटीज वांट पावर्स, दे वांट powers in ruling body. They want political power, they want social power, they want powers in the society, but not more, equal powers. समझ में आ रही बात आपके? इक्वल पावर्स चाहिए सब लोग को, ठीक है। Now children, come to the next point here. What is written here? 1 minute, इसके स्पेलिंग को हम लोग थोड़ा सा करेक्शन कर लेते हैं। हाँ, हो गया। चिल्ड्रन, थर्ड पॉइंट, लुक एट हियर। थर्ड पॉइंट क्या कहता है? It discards discrimination based on caste or creed. It also infuses a spirit of belonging and trust among the citizens who feel that they have a stake in the system. Children, there was discrimination in India on the basis of caste. There were discriminations in many more countries in the world, even in European countries, in the African countries. So children, how those discriminations are removed now? Those discriminations are removed by sharing equal powers with those discriminated groups. So who were discriminated already and who were exhausted people, the children powers are shared with them. Understood? So children, when powers are shared with all the people, equal powers are shared. The children, what they feel the uh, spirit of belonging to the nation, and even they trust on the citizens, they trust on the government. So children, we all Indian citizens have trust on each other, right? And we don't have fear of taking away the rights. हमें इस बात का बिल्कुल भी डर नहीं है कि कोई हमारे अधिकार छीन लेगा। और हमें दूसरों के खुश रहने से कोई तकलीफ होती है क्या? नहीं होती है। So we don't feel sad when we see someone happy, because that individual or that community have right to be happy. If some community or uh, for example a particular community enjoy the rights and they use their rights to make the development of the country or the community, sorry, so children, they are correct, they have right to develop their community. तो यहाँ पर हमको क्या फील होता है? बीइंग अ सिटीजन ऑफ इंडिया एंड बीइंग अ सिटीजन ऑफ अ डेमोक्रेटिक नेशन, वी फील कॉन्फिडेंट about our system, about our rights, and we trust on not only on the citizens but on the government also. Therefore children, number 4, it reduces the political tensions, right? It reduces the political tensions and helps in the smooth functioning and stability of the system. So children, we know that if there are any political tensions, if there are any social tensions in the society, so these can be removed, or these can be at least reduced up to a great extent. And we can even provide a fair opportunity or a very fine opportunity to the government to function well and for a stable system in the country. Children, just always keep these two examples in your mind, the example of Sri Lanka and the example of Belgium. What happened in Sri Lanka and what happened in Belgium? In Sri Lanka, there was political instability, there was social instability, there was civil war, there were so many economic problems, and there was the problem of trust, there was the problem of feeling of belongingness. But children, these all the problems were not in Belgium, because the government of Belgium did the great thing by sharing equal powers with all the citizens. ठीक है बच्चों? That's why children, if a country divide power, so it becomes strong, not weak. चलिए. Now children, next question is here. Do you know one thing children? What are advantages enjoyed by Sinhala community in Sri Lanka? Describe the consequences. तो आप बच्चों इन एडवांटेजेस के बारे में सुनेंगे अब, ठीक है? So number 1 children, the leaders of Sinhala community try to ensure the dominance of their community over the other communities of Sri Lanka after independence. Of course, children. Sri Lanka got independence in the year 1948, I think so, yes. And children, after getting independence, the majority Sinhala community formed the government and they dominated the government. And not only children dominated, but they adopted a series of majoritarian measures. तो उन्होंने क्या किया बच्चों? They adopted a series of majoritarian measures to establish Sinhala supremacy. तो बच्चों, establishing supremacy of any community is always dangerous for any country. So there should be supremacy of law. तो सुप्रीमेसी किसकी होनी चाहिए? लॉ की होनी चाहिए, है ना? कानून सबसे ऊपर होना चाहिए. बट इन श्रीलंका they tried to establish the supremacy of Sinhala, and then children for that उन्होंने क्या किया? They have passed the 1956 Act and they recognized the Sinhala as the only official language. And then children, they disregarded the Tamil. So Tamil was not recognized, only Sinhala language was recognized as the official language. And children, Sinhala people did what? Sinhalas were given special preferences in government jobs and university admissions. So children, these were the steps taken by the Sinhala community, and this is how they tried to establish their supremacy in the country. So first of all, after getting independence, they formed the government, they dominated the government, and then children, they passed the 1956 Act, they recognized the Sinhala as the only official language, and then children, they disregarded the Tamil language, and then they followed the preferential policies in government jobs and university admission, and that's all. You will get full marks. Chaliye. So children, now the next question. No, the next point is yeah. So children, second thing is what? Buddhism was declared as the national religion. So children, in the previous session also I told you that none of the religion can be declared as the national religion in any democratic country, because a country where differences, the people follow different religions. In that country, a single religion cannot be declared as the official religion or the national religion. Like in Sri Lanka, there were Hindus, Muslims, Christians, and Buddhists. So four religious people were there. So how they can declare Buddhism as the national religion? That was the step of establishing Sinhala supremacy. And number 6 and the last one, children. Okay. So this is again very interesting question. Sorry, point. All these, अब इसके consequences क्या हुए देखिए. So all these government measures increase the feeling of alienation among the other communities. They feel that their language and culture were not given due importance. They also feel that the constitution and the policies of the government denied them to give equal political powers. As a result, their relations with the Sinhala community worsened. So children, this created the feeling of alienation in the mind of other communities, and especially Tamil speaking people. And they thought that government is not for their welfare, government is not going to care about them, government is not going to protect their culture and language, and government is trying to suppress them, their identity, and that's why children, civil war happened in Sri Lanka. So if in any country, children, if this happened, in any country, if this happened, if any community try to establish its supremacy, the children, that is going to create many problems. And yes, this has been proved in the history in Sri Lanka also, that how and what happened. Chaliye. So bachcho, now the next question. What measures were adopted by the Belgium government to accommodate regional and cultural diversities? So this is very interesting question, children. ठीक है. तो बेल्जियम में क्या किया गया था? नंबर 1, चिल्ड्रन, इन बेल्जियम इन 1970 to 1993, देखो थोड़ा सा गलती हो गई है लिखने में, आई विल करेक्ट हियर. इन 1970 to 1993, The constitution of Belgium was amended four times. It should be four time here, not for, FOUR, right? Four times to accommodate linguistic, cultural, and regional differences. Of course, children. See, what happened in Belgium? There were tensions between the Dutch and French. So the leaders of Belgium decided to sort out those tensions. And for that purpose, children, they amended the constitution four times. Okay. क्या किया amendment number one, children? Number one amendment is here. The Dutch and French speaking ministers were equal in numbers in the central government. So children, here they did one amendment which was amazing. They decided to keep the equal number of ministers from Dutch and French speaking communities in the national government. बोला ministers equal रहेंगे, ठीक है. Even though children here, Dutch were in majority. Okay. Now, second thing is what, children? Second arrangement they did here, special laws required the support of majority of members from each linguistic groups. Okay. So children, here some special laws were made. What? For providing equality to all the citizens. By the way, many powers of the central government had been given to the state governments of the two regions of the country. The children, there were the two regions, Wallonia region, and there was one more region. So children, in those two regions, kya ho gaya? In those two regions, here they created the state governments. Okay, Flemish region and Wallonia region. And children, these two state governments were given regional autonomy. They were given powers. Okay, they were not subordinate to the central government. They were not responsible to the central government. They were not answerable to the central government. Independent state governments were formed. So number one arrangement, children, national government was formed. Number second arrangement, the state governments were formed, which were independent. Number three, children, at Brussels, they formed a separate government. And children, in that government, they kept equal representation to both the communities. तो बच्चों, दोनों भी communities के लिए ब्रूजेल में क्या हो गया? Equal representation दिया गया. So what was the problem in Brussels, children? In Brussels, the number of Dutch people were more. The French were more. French were 80% in Brussels. But here also, children, in Brussels, they gave equal representation to Dutch and French. So Dutch were just 20%. But again, children, the Dutch were given equal representation in Brussels. And children, the next point is here. Okay. So what is the next point? It is here. So dear all, community government was formed, right? Because there were Dutch, French, and German communities. So here, the leaders of Belgium, they formed the community government, and the community government was elected by the members of that particular community. Like the French community government was elected by the French people, and the Dutch community government was elected by the Dutch people, and the German community government was elected by the German people. So children, these arrangements were done by the government of Belgium to create peace and equality and to solve the conflicts in the country. And these arrangements are exceptional. And I think you will not find such arrangements in any other country. तो ये arrangements आपको कहीं और देखने नहीं मिल सकते. By the way, children, now move on to the next question. ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं लेते हम लोग. Quickly, जल्दी जल्दी हम लोग explain कर लेते हैं सारे questions को. Children, describe the population composition of Sri Lanka and the reasons for the formation of majoritarian government in 1948. The questions may come in different ways. So this is also the way, one of the way that how question can come in exam, right? So children, it is an island nation south of India. Which one? Sri Lanka. And Tamil natives are called Sri Lankan Tamils and form 13% of population. So children, here it's an island nation, south of India. It has boundary with Indian state Tamil Nadu. And children, the Tamils who lived in Sri Lanka and who are actually born in Sri Lanka, but they speak Tamil language, they are called Sri Lankan Tamils, the Tamil natives. They are born in Sri Lanka, but they speak Tamil language. So they are called Sri Lankan Tamils and they form 13% of the population. कितना? 13%. देखो यहाँ पर. So they are 13% of the total population. ठीक है? And then children, yeah, the Indian Tamils whose forefathers had come from India as plantation workers form 5% population. The children, the 5% population in Sri Lanka were again Tamil speakers, but they were not Tamil natives. They were not the natives of Sri Lanka because children, their forefathers had come from India to Sri Lanka as the plantation workers, and thereafter they settled down in Sri Lanka only. So their population composition is just 5%. Okay. So they are 5%. ठीक है. Now, children, this was the population composition based on languages. Again, children, one more, the majority group is here, and that is the Sinhala. So, who are they? They are Sinhala. So, children, in India, Sinhala speaking people are 74% of the total population. And children, by religion, they are Buddhist and they dominated the government after independence in 1948. So 74% population are Sinhala, 13% Tamil natives, 5% Indian Tamils, and then children, 74% people, almost they are Buddhist by religion. And here the Tamils are Hindus, Muslims, and even Christians. Okay. They are Hindus or Muslims actually. And who are the Christians here? The Christians are both Tamil or Sinhala. So children, this is very complex composition in Sri Lanka. It's a complex composition of population. 13% native Tamils, 5% Indian Tamils, 74% Sinhalas. And according to religion also, children, you can see here. So this is how this was the population composition of Sri Lanka. And children, because Sinhala enjoy majority in the country, that's why children, they dominated over the country and they formed the majoritarian government. Chaliye, so let's move on to the next question, dear children. And the next question number 16 is here. तो क्वेश्चन नंबर 16 पर आते हैं. देखिए क्या कौन सा क्वेश्चन है ये. राइट डाउन द फीचर्स ऑफ वर्टिकल डिवीजन ऑफ पावर शेयरिंग. तो बच्चों, वर्टिकल डिवीजन ऑफ पावर शेयरिंग पता है आपको क्या होता है? Just now I said you children, vertical division of power sharing is a power sharing among the different levels of the government. Okay. So in this type of government, the governments are formed at national level, state level, and lower level or local body level. So children, different levels of the government exercise the power of government. Okay. So union government has its powers, state government has its powers, and even the local government has its powers. The powers are separately given to all the forms of government here. And no specification of the system of checks and balances here. So children, here, national government cannot check the working of state government, and children, the state government cannot check the working of the national government. So here, both the levels of government are independent. They are not, they do not follow the system of checks and balance. And it ensures the concept of deepening of democracy. Of course, children, some people, they have negative argument regarding this concept, and they say what, that it's a type of system which can weaken the democracy, but actually this this makes the democracy more strong. And children, central government, state government, and panchayat raj are the examples of the vertical division of power sharing. So vertical division of power sharing, yaad rakhna, it's a type of power sharing arrangement where the powers are shared with the different levels of the government. ठीक है? चलिए. And then children, now question number 17. Okay. So what are the outcomes and lessons we learned from the style of governance in Sri Lanka and Belgium? तो children, आप यहाँ पर देखिए, learned की spelling गलत हो गई, ठीक है. So children, what are the outcomes and lessons we learn from the style of governance in Sri Lanka and Belgium? तो हम क्या सीखने मिलता है हमको इससे, है ना, हम क्या सीखते हैं इससे. चलिए तो मैं बताता हूँ हम क्या सीखते हैं. पहले तो बता दूं बच्चों that we learn many things. Number one, we realize that two countries, Sri Lanka and Belgium, are similar in respect of linguistic and ethnic diversity. Yet both of them followed opposite policies to resolve the differences. So, children, we have seen that in both the countries there were differences on the basis of language, ethnic diversity, ethnic differences, but both the countries followed the different policies to overcome the problems and to settle the and to accommodate the diversities. Children, we have seen that the majoritarian measures as followed in Sri Lanka, right? Sinhala government tried to form the majoritarian government, and children that created feeling of alienation among the Tamils, leading to tensions in the region. It led to civil war waged by the Tamils who fight to create an independent state named Tamil Ilam in the north and the east of island. It is estimated that the war has claimed the lives of more than 68,000 people since 1983, and it has caused significant harms to the population and the economy of the country. So children, when Sri Lankan Sinhalas tried to establish a majoritarian government, and when they tried to become dominant in the nation, so children, the Tamils retaliated, they resisted, and children, they formed political parties, and even they fought for the independent state, and children, that also resulted into the civil war and the killing of or the loss of 68,000 people. And children, this is not just a loss of the population, it is also a loss of human resources, and children, that also affected the economy of Sri Lanka. So dear all, number three, we have to understand one thing only, that by the example of Sri Lanka, we have understood that the policies which were adopted by the Sri Lankan government were not at all the good policies, because those created many problems in the country. But what about the policies adopted by the Belgium? So children, the accommodation policies followed in Belgium have worked well so far. They are complicated, but nevertheless have been able to prevent any outbreak of civil war. The policies help the leader of the country in creating an enabling environment for everyone to live together with unity without disturbing the social fabric of the country. The policies of the government gave equal representation to the different sections of the society. So, children, here it becomes very important and ideal example of the Belgium, because children, the government of Belgium did what? Government of Belgium followed the policy of power sharing, and the government of Belgium shared equal powers with the different sections of the society and different social groups of the society, and they gave equal representation to them in the different levels of the government. So, children, what happened here? Belgium successfully stopped the civil war or any kind of violence in the country. That's why, children, what we learn from these two examples and from this lesson, that power sharing is very important. And without power sharing, believe me, you cannot establish peace in any country. So it is very clear that sharing power with all the social groups in a country, it's very, very important and mandatory. Now, differentiate between horizontal division of power sharing and vertical division of power sharing. So this image is not much visible, it's a blur image. But children, just now I said you what is the vertical division of power sharing. Let me tell you, vertical division of power sharing is a power sharing at the different levels of the government, right? At union level, state level, and at lower levels. But horizontal distribution of power sharing is the type of power sharing where the powers are shared among the different organs of the government, like legislature, executive, and judiciary. And children, horizontal division of power sharing means children here, different organs of the government exercise the power. But here in vertical, different levels of the government exercise the power. हॉरिजॉन्टल में देखिए इट स्पेसिफाइज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ चेक एंड balances. So here judiciary, executive and legislature, it's a checks and balance system, children, because here judiciary has given power to check and to find out the working of the rest of the institution. But here state government, national government cannot interfere in the working of each other. So it's not a checks and balance system. But horizontal distribution, children, is what ensures the concept of the expansion of the democracy, of course, children, right? And it ensures the concept of deepening of democracy. Horizontal, children, example, legislature, executive, judiciary are the organs, and central government, state government, panchayat raj are the examples of the vertical division of power. So children, vertical division of power is also called federal system, okay, or federalism. Fine, there are two questions left, children, only. तो हम आते हैं अपने क्वेश्चन नंबर, only last question is there. Yes. तो बच्चों, look at here, last question, आखिरी सवाल आ चुका है. Okay, तो the video is going to finish now. आज जल्दी हो जाएगा, ठीक है. तो बच्चों, see, write down the features of vertical division of power sharing. बहुत आसान है. देखो, ये horizontal वाला है, ये vertical वाला है. तो जस्ट नाउ वी हैव डिस्कस चिल्ड्रन ऑल दिस टॉपिक्स. तो मुझे लगता है कि वी आर नॉट सपोज टू डिस्कस दिस आंसर वंस अगेन, बिकॉज द क्वेश्चंस आर रिपीटेडली आस्क्ड इन दिस क्वेश्चन बैंक ऑल्सो. बट आई होप चिल्ड्रन in these two videos you have understood what is power sharing and what important questions can come and what type of questions can come in examination, and how to write the answers. And if you want this word file from me, where I have collected the 20 question answers, so you can you can message me in the video. Just comment me there and send your email ID. So definitely I will share these notes with you people, so you can study and you can master your subject. By the way, children, two videos have been made for the chapter power sharing. दो videos खत्म हो चुके हैं. And बताओ मुझे अगला कौन सी एक्सरसाइज आप करना चाहते हो. मैं तो सोच रहा हूँ कि आई शुड गो फॉर नेशनलिज्म इन इंडिया और प्रिंट कल्चर. चलो आप बताना. टेल मी इन द कमेंट बॉक्स विच चैप्टर यू वांट, विच चैप्टर्स एक्सरसाइज डिस्कशन यू वांट. यू वांट नेशनलिज्म इन इंडिया और प्रिंट कल्चर. देखते हैं what is your reaction. By the way, thank you very much children for watching this video. And at last, only one request to you all: please share this video with your friends and with your near and dear people, because I am going to post all the subject revision videos in upcoming 15 days on this channel. So tell them to subscribe the channel and to press the notification button, so they can get the videos on time and they can prepare for the board examination. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Meet you all once again, and write your feedback in the comment box. Thank you.